Just time out with Nigel and Christophe, the podcast.
Hi, thank you for joining us. My name's Coach Nigel Tolentino from Black Frog Sheeran, and with me, of course, I missed you, man, is my tag team partner, Coach Christophe Nye from Orange La Rochelle. How how was your week?
It was a pretty stressful and tiring week. I mean, with the game day during the week on Wednesday for us and for other teams Tuesday, Thursday. It was a lot of things to think about, and games to prepare and practices to run, and yeah, we decided to do some extra hours even on Wednesday in Divalanche. So yeah, it was pretty exhausting week, but in the end, we as a team we can go out of it pretty okay.
Pretty okay, I think. An understatement. I mean, it took two overtimes for T71 to finally eke out that victory at home against you guys, and then on the return trip on Saturday, you had you played a tough, let's say, a tough Sparta team, and still came out on top at the end of the game. So I think watching both games, you guys did all the right things. Okay. So were there any other surprises for you about the results of the last week?
Well, we can consider it still a little bit as a surprise, the second defeat of Etzella in Valfadange. I mean, we know how it is to lose there. It's a tough team to play. They have size, they have shooters, and they're currently on a roll. They are pretty confident. They haven't lost since the restart. And Etzella, they are in trouble because of a very short rotation after the different injuries they have in their team. And yeah, I mean, if you have a guy like Jairo Delgado having to go 40 minutes, it shows that your rotation is pretty short. And in those situations, um, it's tough to win. It's tough to win, especially against teams that have confidence like Valfadange. Yeah, I just want to mention also another team that I mean they were close to a surprise was Steinzel.
Hmm.
They won against Sparta during the week, and then they were leading Kontern for 30 minutes or 25 minutes, and in the end, last quarter they got blown away, 30 by 20 points difference in the last quarter. So I don't know exactly what happened there. I didn't watch the game yet, but from what I've seen so far, Steinzel is on an upwards trend.
True. And I just also read, just right now, that Coach Etienne Louvier has signed an extension with Steinzel. So I just want to say congratulations, Coach, and that's well deserved. Have It's been like what, 3, 4 games already, right? That you guys played since the
Sorry?
restart. How many games have you
Oh,
played in the restart? Three,
four,
four, four
four.
games. Is everyone adjusting basically to the new normal that you guys are, the new normal conditions that you guys are playing under?
I mean, I can only talk for us. I mean, as as I see it, I mean, I don't see much difference. I mean, it's a game to be played. The intensity for me is the same. Of course, the gym is it's not that noisy as normal, but normally during the game I don't hear the noise
Okay.
of the gym. So for me, I mean, it's not really a big difference. I talk to my players the same way. Uh, we try to work on the same stuff and bring the energy on the court to win the game. Of course, if you have the support, I mean, it's from the stands. That might be a thing for the players, but we try to do that from the bench as much as we can. And yeah, so for me, I don't. It's not much of a difference, at least during the game.
All right. Well, we've always had these conversations about, is the season actually going to finish, or how is it going to play out? 4 games in, I know 4 games is a small sample size, but you see it basically finishing or ending
I mean,
I mean, not ending, but you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
no,
Like we
no,
see it running out until the end.
I see what you mean. I mean, for me, it's difficult to say because I have no idea if there have been players being tested positive or not so far. I mean, this is at least to me not an information that has been shared with. We had zero positive tests in our team so far. I hope it continues like this. And as long as as we are in the situation that there is no clusters coming from a game, like in theory should be not possible because of the tests that every team and every referee has to go through before each game. I think we can finish the season. But I think right now I was pretty let's say I was not that confident before the restart, but right now I'm pretty sure we finish the season.
Do you think that fans at some point towards the end of the season, you think that fans are going to be able to at least come and watch the games, or that's totally out of the question?
I don't think it's totally out of the question. I mean, you see, for example, cultural events, they can accept up to 100 spectators
Hmm.
at their events under certain strict rules. I don't understand why, for example, if you have big gym like at Salah or Dudelange, why they
True.
are not allowed to have 100 fans under the same conditions that you have in a concert hall. Of course, it's different than having like the normal atmosphere with bed and everything,
But it's
but
better than nothing.
it's better than nothing. And
Yeah.
right now, I mean, most of the teams try to set up live streams and so on with all the technical difficulties it might have. The RTL streams are not officially ready yet. So, I mean, the clubs they lose a lot of support that they have from the fans, and I mean games are often here social events also. You have to
Hmm.
to understand that where people can meet, they can discuss, they can eat something together or drink something together, and that whole aspect is currently missing.
Now, looking forward for you for next week. Who do you have? Who do you
We
have?
play in Content.
Nine content. All right. Oh, first of all, shout out to your guy DJ Wilson. He's been balling. He's been playing really well past couple of weeks.
Yes,
Um, did you say anything special to the guy, or did he
I told him to
did he
play. I
have any
mean,
of Mike's magic secret stuff or something like that? Because
no, I mean. After the Valfa game, I just lined out to him the stats that he had so far in the season, and I told him, "This is not you." I mean, and that's all. There's no magic.
okay, but this is not you, and then that's all. Come on, there has to be
No,
something more, Coach.
no. I mean, we discussed a little bit pre-game at Salah, and I told him like, as I said, I outlined his stats to him, uh, shooting chart, and we discussed a little bit that he should focus on what he can do, and
Hmm.
that we need him also not only playing defense but also bring something on the table on the offensive end. And he responded with a great game against Itzela, which is always one of the highlights for him and a lot of our players of the
True.
season. And yeah, since then, since that game, so over the last 3 games, he played pretty consistently on both sides of the court.
We have a special guest today. You know, I mean, it's a different setup. It's I think 2 p.m. Her time, and here we are. Yeah, here it's 9 p.m. Of course, and you know, she's been one of the trailblazers, so to speak, of this new generation of Luxembourg women's basketball players. Right? I mean, I haven't spoken to her personally before recently, and have you ever you followed her career though?
Yeah, I mean, I follow most of the careers of the very talented Luxembourgish youngsters to see how they develop. And yeah, the lady who we are talking to today, she was well known in Luxembourg basketball from a very young age. and yeah, she made all the right decisions so far, and she's playing at a pretty high level right now in the United States. Unfortunately, just lost the last game of the conference tournament, but we're gonna discuss that with Anne Simon today.
All right. Well, yeah, you let it out of the bag already, but yes. Tonight we'll be talking to Anne Simon, and yeah, let's bring her up. They call her Luxembourg's finest over in Maine, and I definitely agree. She's one. She's in that discussion uh, this early in her young career. So, all right, let's bring her in. Here is our special guest, straight from Maine, Anne Simon. Welcome to the podcast, Anne.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a long time coming. We've always wanted you to be on the podcast. Since your exploits have been going on since last year, we want to talk to you about how it started and how it went on, and of course, well, let's say how last Friday happened and the aftermath of that. What's going to happen afterwards? I guess my first question, Anne, is this is something I've always wanted to ask to everybody who've guested so far, and I never got to ask this question. Like, how did you first fall in love with basketball?
Oh, so I think I was 5 years old. I first started doing gymnastics, and my cousin, she played basketball in Conturn. And so she once told me to just like go with her, and like she just took me with her to like go practice. And once I was there, I just really enjoyed it. It was different to gymnastics because it was a team sport. It was just fun, and I love to compete, and so that's when I fell in love with basketball.
All right, so at 5 years old.
Yeah, kind of. I think I was five or six.
All right. Were you always competitive, like as a
Yeah,
as a sibling?
Yeah, I'm a really competitive person. So I have one older brother. He's playing soccer, and
Mhm.
so with him, yeah, we had a lot of fights because just we both wanted to win, and it's really competitive.
Yeah, I have the same problem here at home. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old little girl, and her older brother's 7. And it's every time we try to practice dribble drills or whatever, she goes and gets her own little ball and tells, "Papa, look, this is how I do it." I'm sure, Christoph, you also have that kind of issues at home, competitive
Uh,
wise.
yeah, I mean, I've also two kids, 8 and 5, so they also into basketball at the moment, and yeah, we see the little one. She's chasing the other kids through the gym before practice, and yeah, she has a lot of energy, and we see how that develops.
And at what age did you start taking basketball seriously?
Um, Taking it like seriously, I think I was like 7, maybe. Like, so I was really like, I mean, not really young, but it was at a pretty
Mhm.
young age. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I understand, so you did the whole youth development in Content, and also with the different FLBB national team practices in Mersch. So how did this help you to develop your game?
It helped me a lot because, of course, getting selected for the national team was a really huge step for me. And I think also the practices there are always different than the club practices. And I think, again, it just helped me to develop in every aspect for me. It got me even more competitive because, of course, in the national team, we have the best players like from the country. So I was really competitive at a very young age. I just wanted to see how good I am and to measure myself to my other teammates. And also combining that later on with my high school, it was just much easier because the national team obviously supported me, and so did my high school, and it was just easier.
Mhm.
You left then Content at a pretty young age to go to Saint Louis. When did you realize actually that you could well develop into a player that is able to play abroad and not just stay in Luxembourg? When did you realize that?
I think I kind of realized when I went to Sport Lycée before my high school, because it just showed me that I want to do more with basketball and that I just love it and that I don't want to like give it up because of school. And I think obviously then I had Herman as my national team coach, and it was fortunate for me that he was coaching in Germany at that point. And I think I played one season for the seniors for in Quantum for the ladies, and after that I moved. Well, I didn't really move, but I went to play for Germany in Germany for Zalui, and it also there again it helped me to develop. I think it showed me like different aspects of basketball, because also like the playing style and everything is different, completely different than in Luxembourg. And to be there at a very young age, I felt very fortunate, and I got a lot of experience from there. I was happy that I was playing with Muggy too, so it was nice.
So before you went to the States, you last played for Grengvald. Is that
Yeah.
correct? What was your fondest memory of your years in Grengvald or your time in Grengvald?
Obviously, one memory that I won't forget is when we won the championship in the last second by the buzzer beater. So it was a really hard year. We fought a lot. We had a lot of ups and downs, and to just win the championship in the last second, that was just amazing.
Yeah,
I
I watched
remember
that
that pretty
game.
well.
Exactly. I think I was at the bowling alley somewhere with my team, and they were like, "Hey, well, let's watch this game." Like the entire bowling alley just stopped. We just
Yeah, it was
watched.
crazy. It was crazy.
All right. So let's talk about how you got scouted and recruited to UM. Like, how did that all happen?
So there again, it was because a lot of it is because of the national team. So we play the European Championship every summer, or when I was 16, it started like with the under 16 and then under 18 where we play the European Championships. And this is like where the coaches are and like where people see you play, because other than that, I don't think like in Luxembourg, it's like a really popular place to be seen. So I was very fortunate for that to play with the national team on the European Championships, and that's when the coaches reached out to me.
Were you aware that UM was interested in you at this point?
Well, I was interested first, so like I really wanted to go to the US. So I really tried to like for every European Championship to play at my best and to just compete, because I was hoping obviously for offers. And yeah, at some point it started, but I think when I was 16, it already like I got like a few offers, but I didn't really how should I say it? Like I didn't really take it serious, because like I was still 16 and I was like,
16, yeah.
well, I'm not gonna go to college now, so I didn't really take it that much serious. But then for the under 18, I really tried to get more offers, and then that's when it all started.
Okay.
You actually go for visits
Yeah, so
before they decided. Yeah.
I was planning on visiting more schools, but I just ended up visiting Maine. Just because when I got here, I fell in love with it. I loved the team. I loved the coaches. I loved everything. And it was also kind of hard because with the vacations we have at home, it doesn't always like match here. So it was hard for me to like come here without missing school, and or I was free, but then they had like away games, so it was hard to like find something. But I just ended up visiting Maine.
Okay. Your head coach is also basically a legend in women's basketball in NCAA history, right? How were you at any point in time intimidated or just starstruck when she came over, when she came to recruit you?
Yeah, I was very nervous. I mean, it was the first time someone actually came over to visit me, and that's also what I like really appreciated from this university, because they just showed that like they're really interested in you. And she was the only coach who actually came to Luxembourg. And I remember we had our first game with Gringelwald. We played against Steinzel, and at that point they were a really good team. So I kind of scared to mess up, but in my head I was just like, well, she knows how I can play, and I know how I can play. So I really tried my best and not to focus on her too much. So yeah, it ended up, well, we lost, but it was okay.
Christoph?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually also talk with the other girls who went already to the States before, like Lisa, how the recruitment process was going, and also to check the differences between the different conferences and schools, so that you really understand where you're gonna head?
Um, well, honestly, I wasn't really aware of everything before I got here because it's hard at home to like follow. I feel NCAA just because there are like so many like you have to pay and stuff like that, and like
Mm-hmm.
I never really knew all the rules. And honestly, I also didn't really talk to Lisa because I didn't really know her that well, so I didn't really reach out to her. But I was talking to Tess a lot because she was also play on the Grangerville team, and she helped me a lot to also like she answered every question I had, and yeah, sometimes I had to Google some stuff to make sure like what it means and stuff like that. And I still don't know everything, I guess, but it's better.
Okay. Okay. How was the deal closed? Like, was there any special celebration when you said yes to UM, or did Coach Amy say something that made you say, "Okay, I'm in," or
Yeah,
something like that?
so she also does a good job in doing that because I mean she knows how to get her players, and obviously when she offered me a scholarship here, she told me to obviously like don't think about it too long just because like other players might get an offer too, and if they say yes first, like they're gonna get them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a little pressure, but when I got home, I talked with my mom immediately, and I was pretty sure that I wanted to commit, and just because we both loved it here. And actually, it's not like in the States. In the States, it's different. When you commit, it's like you get like gear and stuff like that, and they take pictures. But I was just sitting in my kitchen, just signing the letter.
Okay. Um, Freshman year, were there any major adjustments that you had to go through?
I think defensively it was different. I had to adjust to not using my hands as much, just because here they call more fouls, and it's faster for them. I don't know. You just can't use your hands as much as we do back home. So I had to adjust to that. But other than that, it was like, of course, there are other rules. So like, you can just call a timeout, or like there
Yeah.
are just little things that are different. But it didn't really bother me that much.
Okay. How about life as a student athlete? I mean, you come from living at home in Luxembourg, and it's basically, well, I'm not gonna say easier, but compared to life abroad, in a new setting, in a new setup, and with roommates that you don't even know at the beginning. How did you cope with that, with all of that?
Yeah, so I am pretty much a very dependent person. So it was not that like at home I really needed the support of my mom or my
Mhm.
siblings or friends. Like, I knew what I want and how to achieve it. So like, I was really dependent, and I'm still an independent, like very independent. And I don't know, just once I got here, it felt also like because for the national team, we were going to like a boarding school where we were like for 2 days, where we slept in Mersch. And that's kind of, it was like, I mean, it's not the same, but like I was really young at that age too. And that's also when I moved to Germany, like I was away
True.
from home.
Yeah.
So it wasn't something completely new to me. And just because also the team was really open and they were really nice to me here, so I felt really welcome. And same with the coaches, so it wasn't too hard for me to adjust.
Did the fact that you have a very international team with players coming from Spain, Denmark, Israel, and so on, did that help you a lot for getting adjusted, and also to find new friends or new relationships on the court?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, um, it's different if you have players that are in the same position as you, so they can't go home. They can't see their family for that long. They're away from home. It's something new for them. It's English is not their first language. Like, it's hard, but if you have those teammates, you just know that you can talk to them about everything you want because they feel you and they know how it was going through their freshman year, how hard it is at first maybe to not be able to go home for Christmas and spend those time with your family. So it was for me, it was really important to have many international players just because um, I I knew it was going to be different, and I knew they were going to go through the same thing.
Your freshman year, you burst onto the scene. Did you start off as a six man or as a starter?
Um, I don't really remember. I think the first two games I didn't start. Also because we had like the ones that got injured were still playing at that time. So Blanca and
Mm-hmm.
Tawny, they were still playing and they weren't injured. But after I think Fawny got injured, I took the spot in the starting five, and then obviously Blanca got injured. So it was from that on, I think, where I started.
And you got Rookie of the Year honors at the end of the year. How
Yeah.
did that feel? Like, how did that feel? Because basically, it's like Christophe mentioned to me, it's not every day that you get a Luxembourg player go to a conference and win, Rookie of the Year.
Hmm. Yeah, so I mean, I was really happy. Hard work really paid off. Like I really tried over the summer to really even get better, and with also the help of the national team coach and Herman, they made it easier for me, and I was happy. I really didn't expect it, and yeah, I was building off from that.
Mm-hmm. Christophe?
Yeah, for those who maybe don't know you that well, um, how would you describe yourself as a player, actually?
Um, I would say I love to drive to the basket, to be aggressive in defense too. And I feel like this year I've been more comfortable from shooting from outside. Um, and I mean, yeah, that's basically it. I love to play fast and get easy points.
So I saw
Oh,
on your profile that your favorite player is Marine Johannes.
Yes, yes.
So do you take her also as a model to model your game? Because she's very creative player and also very aggressive, going to the basket and so on.
Yeah, I love watching her play. She can get a shot every time she wants to. Like she drives to the basketball, she does assists. Like it's really nice to watch her play. And sometimes like that's why I even love watching her because I really want to learn from her and just trying to play like kind of her style, but I still have to get there.
So for those who don't know, I highly recommend Google YouTube videos of her. She's very spectacular
Mhm.
player.
Yeah.
mhm. Before you got to the final last year, COVID happened, and it was also against Stony Brook.
Mhm.
And that game was canceled. Like, what was the what was your mindset at that point? You were looking forward to finally playing, a conference championships, punching your ticket into the WNCAA tournament, and then it got sidetracked. Like, was there ever any doubts? Like, should I come back, or was there ever anything that made you stall or stop and think?
Yeah, so no, I never doubted to come back. With all the success we had last year, with losing the best player we had in conference and then still being able to play, to go to the final game. Well, we
Mm-hmm.
didn't play, but I was really proud of the team and I knew we could accomplish it and maybe do it again. And I mean, this year we did it again, but we lost in the final game. But I'm pretty sure that in those 2 years that I'm still gonna be here, 2 3 years, we will get it back. And especially next year, I'm excited with the team to take back what they took away from us.
Mm-hmm. Talking about next year, you don't have many juniors on your team at this point, right?
Yeah.
So your mindset going into next year as a junior now, and you basically one of the senior members of the team, like, have you started thinking about what your role is going to be, how you are going to improve, or what things or what aspects of your game on and off the court are you going to have to work on?
Yeah, so I know I need to step up for next year just because you said next year we won't really have any seniors. We will have a fifth a graduate
Fifth
student,
year.
so Maeve, yeah, who is a senior this year. She's gonna stay for next year, and then it's me and two other sophomores right now that are gonna be juniors. So I know that our role is to step up and become a leader on the court, but also off the court, and I'm really excited to see how that goes because we really have a good freshman class this year, and for them to be sophomores and then the new freshies coming in just to be like maybe not completely new team, but it's going to be different than this year, obviously. But just seeing how much we can accomplish with that team, it's going to be nice.
How much fun are you having playing basketball in the States at the moment?
Yeah, I love it. I never doubt coming here. I don't regret anything. So for players who are thinking about going to college, I feel like you should try it, even if it's going to be hard in the beginning, because you're not at home and you're going to miss your family, obviously, but it's worth it. And if you find the right place, you're going to love it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, women's sports and in college sports also are regarded way higher in the US than they are in Europe and also in Luxembourg. How can you compare that to, or what can you give examples of the differences how you're treated in the US compared to Europe?
Yeah, so it's really different. I mean, we get a lot of college like sports gear that we don't get at, like we do get it at home, but here it's like really we get travel gear, we get t-shirts, like stuff like that. We get shoes that we don't have to buy for ourselves. Like it's really nice to of course get like stuff that we need for basketball wise. But if I compare to like home, it's also just the fans, for example, that we usually have in our games. Especially if we would have played this championship game at home and we wouldn't be in COVID time, the gym would be packed and it would just be amazing with the band playing. Like it's a nice atmosphere. Like it's just something that you don't experience every day. And yeah, as you said, it's just they support it more, I guess, and we're still on our like way to even support them more with the WNBA going on. Like they're really trying to get women's basketball even more recognized, because sometimes it's like on TV they show a lot of men's basketball college, whereas the women's are not shown every time and not that much. So there's still a lot to improve, but it's definitely better compared to Europe. I mean, not definitely better, but like some places, of course, in Europe are nice,
True.
but it's I can't complain being here.
Okay, we have to talk a little bit about this season. All right. You've lost one game the entire year, one or two?
Two.
Two games, yes. The game was really a tale of two halves. Like the first half, you guys were smoking everything, and then third quarter, it was a 19-2 run until you ended that with a 5-point spurt of your own, a three and a fast break too. And it was mentioned before that happened against the same Stony Brook team in a previous game. Like first quarter, you guys only scored 4 points.
Yeah, I remember. So we played them before the championship game. We played them twice, and we played them on their home court, so like not here. And I remember we were struggling. We didn't play our basketball like we usually did. We obviously also didn't make our shots. We were forcing a lot. And so the first game, I think we lost by 4 points. And then the day after, we played them again. And that's when we only scored 4 points in the first quarter. And I don't know how it happened. Like, I've never experienced something like that before. Like, it wasn't even that we didn't try. Like, we really tried hard. We knew in the locker room, we said we're going to come out strong, but it didn't want to go like work for us. And then we started pressuring them a little, and then we got easy points. So that's when the second game we won, I think, by also 4 points. So we knew before Friday that's going to be a tough game, and whoever wins the 50-50 balls and just does the little things right is going to get the championship. And unfortunately it wasn't us. They played a really good game. They had two players that hit really big shots. Their
I think two players that were scoring like 20 and 30.
Yeah,
But that was
31,
just the two of them.
20,
Yeah, 51 points total.
Yeah, they were playing great. They played good defense, and I mean, you said it. The first half, we played much better. We were aggressive, and that's why we got easy points. And then I think we had a 12-point lead, and then just before the half, they cut it down to 3. And then the second half, I think the third quarter we always struggled this year. So again, this time we came out not really aggressively. They got easy points. We made some stupid fouls. They went to the free throw line and they hit big shots. And yeah, at the end it was just too short for us to come back in no time.
But it was still like really you ladies kept your poise all throughout. Like any team that's being routed 19-2, they usually they just fold, right? Anywhere, everywhere. But you kept your composure. Again, like I said, you went on a 5-0 run yourself. And then it ended in it was in the last 30 seconds, I think, where the game was decided.
I mean, after the game, we were all pretty sad. We didn't really know what to think of because I think also we knew we had a really, really good team this year, but unfortunately we just never really got a really good game. Like we never really played the way I think that we could have played in the games. So I don't know. After the game, obviously we were sad and we were trying to think about positive things. But then, of course, having their seniors leave and ending it the way it ended on Friday was kind of sad again. And I think it took like maybe for me, it took 2 days to just think about next year, to come out aggressive. I think next year, especially because we're going to lose a lot of good players, people and teams going to think, oh, Maine is not going to be that good this year. We don't have to worry about them. And I prefer being an underdog just because we don't have the pressure as much as we do if we have a really, really good team. And that's also why I feel like a lot this year we had a lot of attention. The media was a lot. We played really well the whole season long. But, I mean, for Stony Brook, they didn't have anything to lose. We had everything we wanted. We had the best play of the year, defensive player, the best coach. We had so many people in the first team, second team. So like we had a lot of pressure, and I feel like that was also a point. I don't know why we didn't play as much. I don't know.
As free as you could have.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And more as a personal interest, how does it work out now? Now that your season is over, do you still continue to practice? I know that they have some very specific rules on practice times in NCAA. So how does that look like? Is there off season now, or how does that look like?
Yeah, so I am not 100% sure. Also, just because last year I didn't really experience it because of COVID, so I went home last year at this time. But what I've heard is that we're gonna be off for 2 weeks. So no practice. Obviously, we can go to the gym whenever we want, but we don't gonna have anything with the coaches. And I think after that, we're just gonna start like preseason again. We're gonna call it postseason, but it's kind of like preseason. So get the conditioning back and stuff like that, working on the little things and just trying to get better.
But freshmen, they only come in fall.
Yeah, the freshmen, they're coming August.
Yeah, okay.
Now that you're sophomore going to a junior year, you're basically close to a dream that a lot of people just have. Like, are there any thoughts now? Are there any focuses? Or let's say after your senior year, after 4 years, what's next? Like, what's on your mind? You mentioned that you like to go get whatever, or go get after what you want.
Yeah, so obviously my dream would be playing in the WNBA, but I know it's gonna be really hard. And I mean, it's always been my dream, and it will always be my dream. So I'm just gonna start working harder, just trying to get ready, improving as much as I can, and obviously I want to play professional afterwards. So looking how far I can get.
Is there anyone that, let's say, you want to get back next year? Like, is there any person, team, or whatever that you were circling in the calendar as early as now? Like, I'm gonna get you guys back for this season.
You mean from the players we're losing this year?
No, from the teams that you played against. Like,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't wait to play Stony Brook again.
Stony Brook is always gonna be that one.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a battle. Yeah.
No, I just want to understand a little bit more about this rivalry between Maine and Stony Brook. For for people living here in Luxembourg, how can you describe that? Is that teams that are pretty close from geographical area, or is it just like a rivalry because of the results over the last years? How can we understand that?
Yeah, so I don't know if Stony Brook has been like a rival for Maine since I think it started last year. Also, just because we both had like a really great season and we were advancing to the finals, and obviously Stony Brook last year won the regular season, and we were just about to like play the game, and I think that's when it started because it got canceled and both teams just felt like they lost something important and we didn't know who's the better team. And I mean, yes, they were told being the champions, but we never really accepted it because we never really played the game. And so I feel like this year again it was just all about winning and taking back and like just getting to that point again where we can actually have the matchup and see who really deserves it. And I feel like also the game we had on Friday also brings back emotions from last year, and it's just going to be like, yeah, like we won, so we would have won last year too, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's just the only thing we have as like rivalry, but like I don't think they have had like this before with Stony Brook. I think it has been like Albany before that. So I feel like it's always like the teams that are like really close and like where the games are like pretty close. So I think that's like the most important games. But yeah.
So you started the rivalry basically since you got there. It's all on you.
Yeah, it's all me. I'll take it.
Okay. Are there any, let's say, young Lux players who you feel can be near or be on the cusp of being at this level, college-wise?
Actually, what Nigel wants to know is if you're recruiting players.
Oh, me.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's not a bad idea, right? That's a bad idea.
I'm not really recruiting anyone, but I can see players playing overseas. Especially now, I'm in close contact with Joy. She's playing in Gringelwald, so that's she also went to Sportlyse, so the same high school. Yeah, I mean, all the players that are in the national team, I feel like I don't really know the younger people, like all of them, but I'm pretty sure that there are some big talents that could go and play overseas.
Yeah, you mentioned Joe Oli. Is that her that you mentioned, huh?
Yeah, I meant
Yeah.
Oli and
Yeah.
Joy Bone.
Yeah. So do you know if they have aspirations also to come to play college basketball?
Yeah, so both of them actually. I texted Joy Baum has asked me some questions, so she's definitely interested, and I think so is Joe, but I don't know how old she is. I'm not pretty sure if it's her final year in high school. I don't know, so that's why I'm like still a little unsure
Okay.
how many years she has, but I'm pretty sure she's also one that it's looking forward to go play in the United States.
Speaking from your own personal experience, right? Like, how else do you think we can grow and develop women's basketball in Luxembourg?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a lot of it starts from just supporting the women's teams. Since I've started playing there, I just always realized the inequality we had with the men's team. Obviously, it's not their fault. The men's team, like, I don't know. I don't want to say anything to them or bad about them, but it's just you can tell in the game, like for the games, the women's team, like they don't really get a lot of support. Not even from I don't know, from supporters of like the same club. So like they're only coming for the men's game because it's obviously like more interesting because they can dunk and it's interesting to watch. But I don't know. I think also now this year it's been a lot different because of COVID, obviously. But just seeing how the men's team and everyone is doing without supporters, I think also opened eyes for people to realize maybe how hard it is for women's team to play and without having any fans, you know. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot we can improve with the inequalities that we could be better at.
Yeah, I think even with press coverage, so to speak,
Exactly.
uh, Coach Ken was here mentioning that they even the men's team don't get as much recognition as they should. And in the back of my head, I'm like, well, we don't even hear anything about women's games or women's results unless it's reported by Kim Hippies and an FLBB website.
Mm.
So that's also one of the things that, like you mentioned, a lot of inequality there. How about training wise, like facilities or more trainers needed?
Yeah, I mean, it's different because now I'm like obviously used to having more coaches. So everyone has like the head coach, and then there are like several assistant coach. Then you have a trainer, you have a conditioning coach. So it's really different than back home. And like, I mean, having more coaches, it's not going to hurt anyone. I feel like it would be awesome for teams to have more coaches to like just focus on individual players and not like on the whole team, so they can improve even better. But facility wise, I we have pretty nice gyms, to be honest. Like when I played in Germany and we were playing at some places, I was like, wow, like compared to Luxembourg, it's really like
Mhm.
different in Germany. So like about the facilities, I can't really complain too much. Like especially now Grangeval with Herman, he did a great job in like um, buying or like getting like a fitness room for the players, and also like a shooting gun to improve like their shooting. So yeah, I think we're doing pretty good with the facilities.
How about like playing outside? Like,
Yeah.
do you think that having more clubs join in and or joining the Euro Cup would that make a world of difference, so to speak, in terms of experience?
Yeah, so it's hard to be just I mean it would be good for teams. I'm happy for Grindelwald they did it, but I'm also pretty sure that like because they have so many young players, they can get a lot of experience, obviously. And I know it's hard for clubs to pay for like all the
Hmm.
Euro Cup, like it's really expensive. So getting support from like maybe locals and stuff like that to afford going and playing Euro Cup would be nice. And I mean, then they're always talking about how many American players we should have, how many international players we should have. So I don't know. Like I understand both sides. Like I know why we should only have two American players, because then like the Luxembourgish players can develop and they can get playing time. But then also again, I'm like looking if we would have more international and more Americans, the playing style in general would just be like stronger, and like it would be more competitive. People would have to work twice as hard to get playing time. You know what I mean? So like everything would just be different. But like I get both points, so it's a really hard um decision on that. But I don't know. Of course, joining Eurocup is really nice, and you can always gain a lot of experience from that.
You see often also college teams travel to Europe or to other continents. I guess right now this is not really a topic because of COVID, but I mean, let's hope that these times will change. And I don't know, is Maine a team that is generally doing this kind of tours in the summer? And yeah, why not having you one day playing with Maine in Luxembourg?
That'll be cool.
Yeah, I mean that would be kind of nice, but I don't know if it's every 4 years of what I've heard that they're like traveling to like European countries, or like because it was last year that they went to Greece. No, 2 years ago they went to Greece, and it's every 4 year I think that they're like actually traveling somewhere else. So I don't know if it's like a rule or if you can only go every 4 years, but that's what I've been told.
Yeah.
So I don't
So
know.
timing wise, it would be for your senior year.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And more exposure also.
That's a
Yeah.
good ending. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Actually.
Hey, the great ending would be a berth in the in the WNCA and
Yeah, yeah.
getting somewhere there.
We'll
All
get there.
right,
We'll get there.
true. Any other questions, Christoph?
Well, I mean, just maybe to wrap it up. I mean, when you left 2 years ago to play in the US and now, and how do you see yourself having developed as a player and also as a person? Um, what is the overall, let's say, conclusion after 2 years from a development point of view?
Yeah, so I feel like I've developed in a lot of aspects. So I've developed definitely in reading the game better. I've gained a lot of experience from former players, especially this year, being able to play with Dor and Blanca. So just to experience what I am capable of doing and what I can be better at. Um, I also realized my strength is getting better just because we have a lot of practice in the weight room and stuff like that. So that's really important too. And although I never really liked it, I know how important it is for us to be strong. And yeah, I mean, I got more independent. I know how to live by myself in a completely different country with a different language. So it can't ever really hurt. School wise, I'm doing great. It's not too bad. I mean, getting paid for the university, like, I mean, it's obviously nice not having to cover that. And yeah, I guess
Sorry,
it's
what are you taking? What's your major at this right now?
psychology.
Technology, and you are also an academic scholar.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Okay. One last thing. Like, what if you were to look back at your game before you got over to Maine? What was the one thing you wish you developed earlier or before you got there?
Oh, um, that's hard, but a good question. I think just being more flexible with both of my hands. I think I focused a lot at home on my left hand, and I mean it's important to being able to play with both hands, left or right, to make it even harder for the defensive player to guard. So yeah, I'd say that.
Hmm. All right, Christoph, wrap it up.
Yeah, I think
All right,
we went through all the points we wanted to discuss, and we were very happy to have you here on the podcast. Huh?
definitely. Any last words? Any words you want to share to anyone who's watching? You know, you have the floor, and if it's about Luxembourg basketball, anything you want to say about that or whatever
Yeah, I
message you want
mean,
to give out.
I really appreciate for you guys having me here. I hope other players are listening to it and that I could maybe change their mind and maybe help them coming to the United States or having it in mind because it's really worth it.
All right, cool. Well, thank you very much. We're not gonna keep you because I know is it a sunny afternoon where you're at or?
Um, it's not really sunny right now. It's actually snowing.
Okay, all right. Well, that was a bad segue, but thank you very much and appreciate your time and hope to see you again and more success to you.
Thank you. Thank you so
All
much.
right, have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Okay, that was Anne Simon, straight from Maine, and she mentioned a lot of great points here, Christoph.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we had some interesting points to discuss with her. The whole career so far, the steps to Germany, the importance of the Luxembourg development here in with the national teams, and Hermann Parr also quite important coach in her career. And now the differences between playing in the US and here in Luxembourg or in Europe in general, the importance of women's sports in the US compared to Europe. And
Yep.
yeah, I mean, it was a pretty interesting discussion, and I think it's important to put those people also in the spotlight because I mean, in the local press, women's sports is not that covered, not that much, especially also in basketball, and we have some talented players. That are from Luxembourg, either playing in the US or even abroad in Italy, for example, Lisa Jablonowski
Mhm.
playing in Italy, and people should know who these people are, who these players are, and what they represent, and what level they play. So I think it was one of the better podcasts we did so far.
I like the fact that we have this platform to be able to highlight these players and what they're achieving and what they're going through outside of Luxembourg that nobody has, well, nobody out of the basketball circle has any idea about. I mean, how often do you hear about a Luxembourgish player winning Rookie of the Year or your first team All Conference? And these are no small feats. Like this should be huge,
Yeah.
but I don't think it was ever mentioned anywhere except for the FLBB website and us always keeping talking about things like these. Right? At some point, it feels like there has to be a little bit more respect given, a little bit more interest, and I think that the interest has already been earned by a lot of these players, a lot of these teams that we have right now in
I
Luxembourg.
mean, I mean, this is edition 6 or 7. I don't
Mhm.
remember exactly, and it's the first time we have a female guest. So it's not only the others; it's also us.
Yeah,
So
I know exactly, but I was gonna say that, right? Like we've been into this podcast for 6 episodes already, and we've talked about, you know, we said we need to bring this person in. We need to talk about women's basketball, and Anne Simon has always been like in one of our priorities to get onto the podcast. It's just that timing wise was never great because she was of course playing. Um, in a stacked conference. She had her league to go to, and it was really I was really happy that she was able to give us this time, even after a tough loss on Friday. And usually, it's hard to start talking about basketball again after such a tough loss. But hey, thank you, Anne. Appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, we have to look ourselves in the mirror too. We need to be able to get more diversity, so to speak, in discussing basketball or basketball in the context of inside the game and outside. They've also talked about maybe having some women's team coaches come in here and talk to us about women's league. So hopefully we can get those set up as well.
So
Um,
if you're an expert of women basketball here in Luxembourg and you're still listening to podcast at this moment,
yes,
send us a
please.
message.
I
Uh,
mean,
we we we
even
are, we don't know exactly who. I mean, we know of course who are the different coaches and players, but we're not so familiar with who might be interested in sharing some thoughts here in this podcast. So if you want to share your thoughts as a coach or as a player, feel free to hit us up and we can find something.
yeah, I mean definitely. Also, one of the people I've wanted to feature in the podcast has been Rocky. I mean, Marco, sorry. Do we call him Marco? Or do we call him Rocky? I
No,
always call him Rocky.
nobody calls him
Nobody calls him
Marco.
Marco. All right. I'm sorry, Rocky. My bad. All right. Okay, because he was with the Special Olympics. He was a coach of the Special Olympics team for basketball in Luxembourg, and he at some point, I think it was 2 3 years ago, they had a game against Nigeria, and then that's where he started the Shoes for Nigeria project, and it's been going on and on. And I've always wanted to talk to him about this, but now that we have this platform, I'm really happy that he said okay. And they just returned from Nigeria. I think they went
Exactly.
there to do a camp and to do meet and greets, and like these are things, outreach programs that don't get the recognition that they deserve. And you know we're here for you
Yeah,
guys. Just let
yeah,
us know what we
definitely.
can do. We'll highlight you. We'll get you on the podcast. We'll get you a platform to be able to talk about the things that you do, not just for the community or not just for basketball, but for in general. So, well, that being said, it's time to wrap it up, and I'll see you again next week, Christophe. So, on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Christophe Nye, this is Coach Nigel Tolentino saying thank you very much for joining us. And again, don't forget to
Coach's
hit us
Time
up.
Out with Nigel and
And have a good
Christophe, the
evening.
podcast.
Bye bye.
Bye.